Joining me now to help break down the gun control issues facing the U.S. is Elliot Fineman, President and CEO of the National Gun Victims Action Council. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's start with President Obama. Can you talk to me about his proposals? I want to get your thoughts on it and whether you think it'll fix this problem.
Well, the proposals President Obama has made, if in fact all were passed tomorrow, would not solve the problem. That said, all of these proposals should pass, but I doubt that they will.
Well, what roadblocks does he face in getting this passed, and how realistic do you think it is?
Well, for example, the call for background checks depends on the integrity of the database that the background checks are made against. I had gotten a grant to study the integrity of the database, and found that millions and millions of records are missing. Virtually 90%, 9 out of 10 of the mental health records that should be in the database are not. And many of these people already have guns. So to do the search or the background check through databases that have woefully inadequate data is not going to lead to any protection. The talk about banning magazines and banning assault weapons all make sense, but they're not going to happen. And even if they did happen, unless all the millions of guns that are out there, the assault weapons and large magazines, are repurchased, bought back from the government, as they did in Australia after the massacre at Port Arthur, what have you accomplished? The guns are still there, and they're going to be used in instances just as we've seen.
Well, what will it take for Congress to agree? Maybe that's the first question. And why is it so much harder for something to happen here in the United States versus other countries around the world?
Well, that's a wonderful question. And the reason is twofold. One is that the American public, we do not have a gun culture, by the way. There are 100 million people in the country that want sane gun laws. But the American public has been kept guarded or hidden. The data, the real impact on public health and the insanity of our gun laws are not well known by the general public. And this is deliberate. The NRA has forced research that would normally be the basis of public policy on what the impact of guns are on public health to be stopped. That research can't be done. The second part of it is that you have of why it's hard to pass, is you have a vocal minority of extremists, maybe about 1 million gun enthusiasts, gun extremists I call them, and also an NRA leadership that I call corrupt, because their only goal is not public safety at all. It's to maximize sales for the gun industry. So you've got money going on, you've got extremists going on, and then you've got an uninformed public. Therefore, you don't get the laws passed that need to be passed.
Elliot Fineman, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, a very complicated issue still.